MrBeast just got exposed by members of his original YouTube crew, as several former employees started calling him out for shocking things they claim happened behind the scenes, along with harsh work conditions they allegedly dealt with on a regular basis. What makes this even crazier is that the drama reportedly goes all the way back to the early days of his rise on YouTube. Multiple well-known faces from his videos later opened up about why they left the team, sharing details that many people believe seriously damaged MrBeast's image more than once. And recently, the situation has gotten even messier. MrBeast was reportedly hit with a lawsuit involving claims of workplace misconduct from a former employee, with accusations so serious that people online believe even discussing them publicly could create massive backlash for his reputation.
All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. You saw the title, you know what it's about. Here we go. We're just gonna dive straight into it. So as you may have noticed, you probably, if you're a MrBeast fan, you probably have noticed I have not been in the videos as of late. My piece no longer fit the puzzle, if that's the best way to put it. I had shown up, you know, I had done everything I was asked to do. I did it to the best of my ability. I helped the channel grow. When I joined, it was at 4 million. And when I left, I think we had just passed 30 million. But it was a mutual leaving. I had already shown, well, I'd already told them multiple times, you know, what I wanted to do was kind of be my own boss, do my own thing. You know, I like streaming. I like being able to get in front of the camera and entertain people through playing video games or whatever it is. I wanted to be able to make my own videos. You know, I wanted the opportunity to travel and to go places. You know, me and MrBeast, or me and Jimmy did not have any type of falling out. There was no argument. There was no batching. There was none of that. It was very mutual because it was something I was already contemplating, you know, not if, but when this was going to happen. And it kind of got sped up.
Back in the beginning, Jake the Viking was one of the biggest personalities in MrBeast's videos, so fans were shocked when he suddenly stepped away from the team in early 2020. He uploaded a video explaining his exit, and it exploded to over 18 million views, proving just how popular he really was with the audience. At first, Jake made it sound like there was no major drama behind the scenes. He kept things calm and explained that his departure wasn't connected to any huge conflict or bad blood. He even doubled down by saying there were no problems between him and MrBeast, making it clear that they were still cool with each other even after he left the crew.
There's no hard feelings anywhere, and the fact that I was able to be a part of one of the best YouTube channels in the world, you know, and learn from one of the best and be a part of the best, you know, and kind of put that on my resume and kind of check it off is amazing. Now it's time. I want to move on. I want to start my own brand. I want to start my own thing. I want to do my own thing, you know, and I really want to just push and, you know, kind of be my own person, my own thing, my own brand. You know, I really want to do all that. I have parted ways with MrBeast and the MrBeast channel. It's now time for Jake the Viking takeover.
But compared to others who later spoke out, Jake honestly seemed to have one of the smoothest exits from the MrBeast team. In that original video, he mostly focused on positive experiences and talked highly about his time working with the group. Back then, the public image around MrBeast made him seem like one of the best creators to work for in the YouTube world. From the way Jake described things, MrBeast came across as respectful, supportive, and easy to work with overall. But over time, Jake's view of him appeared to shift. During live streams later on, he started making comments that hinted things may not have been exactly how they first looked. Some viewers noticed that Jake seemed to suggest MrBeast was different behind the scenes compared to the image he originally defended in that first video.
MrBeast nice off camera. I assume you guys just always wondered, so thought I would ask. P Green, I'm gonna be real with you. I ain't answering that on stream.
Now again, this was a huge contradiction compared to what Jake originally told everyone. He went from saying there was no bad blood between him and MrBeast and speaking positively about him, to later jumping on live streams and hinting that MrBeast wasn't exactly a great person behind the scenes. To a lot of viewers, it started looking suspicious. Some people thought Jake was stirring up controversy for attention, while others believed there had been tension between them the entire time that he simply kept hidden from the public. And what made the situation even crazier was that Jake wasn't the only former employee giving off these mixed signals. After he started making comments about why he left, more ex-MrBeast workers slowly began speaking out too. Several of them first praised MrBeast publicly, only to later post long videos and statements describing difficult working conditions and stressful experiences they allegedly went through while being part of the team. One of those former workers was Soar Turner. He uploaded a now-deleted video called Why I Quit Working for MrBeast, where he originally talked about how positive the experience was and how much fun it felt being around the crew. He described the environment almost like hanging out with close friends, saying that showing up to work felt exciting every single day, but after some time passed, Turner suddenly changed his tone in a massive social media post that shocked a lot of people online.
MrBeast paid for my rent every month when I lived in North Carolina, and he said, all right, you can live here as long as you want. You can literally stay in this like pretty expensive apartment just until you feel comfortable leaving. Don't feel like you're in a rush. Stay as long as you want. Stay for months if you want to. It doesn't matter to us. They're still paying me right now. I'm still technically working. I'm not going to give like any numbers or anything. They said we're still going to pay you for a while, and that is basically funding my trip to backpack across Asia. He's saying you don't have to work for me, but I'll still pay you, and because of that, I hope that lets you live in LA, go to college, backpack Asia. Whatever you want to do after this, I want to set you up. And the job is still an amazing job. If you have the opportunity to get this job that I had, totally take it. It's a lot of fun. It was basically just like a friendship, and going to work was a blast each and every day.
The message directly contradicted many of the positive things he had previously said about working for MrBeast. I'm not going to make a video about my time editing for MrBeast, but I will say that it was the most mentally draining time of my life. I was yelled at, bullied, called mentally retarded, and replaceable by MrBeast every day. Being in tears and having mental breakdowns day after day is difficult, and after a while became too much. After every editing mistake I made, I was made to feel like an absolute idiot, even if the content wasn't real. No credit was given unless a video I edited got credited to someone else. Editors were also told if they were ever to leave the team, we shouldn't be set up for success after, so no credit will be given.
All I've seen is people praise MrBeast, whether that be just people around me, people online. Everyone's like, this is the best guy on the planet. And while he is definitely a good guy, I'm not going to take anything away from his charitable efforts that he's done. It does get annoying when the person that everyone knows as a saint, you know as someone who's the complete opposite. Now, I want you guys to keep in mind, just like actors, MrBeast and Jimmy Donaldson are two different people. This is basically just a compilation of all the videos MrBeast made thus far on his channel of him giving away money, adding up to him hitting $500,000. It's like, I want you to get every time I've ever given away money, add it up in the corner, and it should equal $500,000. I was like, this isn't gonna work because you clickbait. He'd be like, no, I swear, I did the math. I was like, all right, man, for sure. 8 hours passes by, I finish editing the video, and instead of the $500,000 he wants it to hit, it's maybe $410,000, and I'm like, Jimmy, clickbait is a thing you need to take into consideration. It came to a point where he's like, you know what, just start over, man. Deletes the project file, is like, start from scratch. Even if you delete the project file and make me restart and make me recut up all these clips, I can't make this equal $500,000. I am going insane. I don't know how you want me to do this. By day like 5, when he comes in and does basically the same thing and just scraps my whole video and asks me to do it again, I'm like, dude, let me take a walk, man. I specifically walked to a good friend who worked there at the Times office about 30 seconds away. And I'm like, dude, I don't know what to do right now. I can't edit this video for like another day. He wants me to come in on the weekend and do the same thing. I'm literally gonna go crazy. And that's when Jimmy hears me talking about how aggravated I'm getting with the situation, and apparently like talking shit behind his back, which I really wasn't. I just wanted like help. Comes in the room and he goes, you absolute fucking get back in that fucking room, or I swear to God, Turner. Jesus Christ, how many fucking times do I have to tell you how to edit this video? What are you, a fucking...
Those claims immediately sent social media into chaos, with people debating whether the work environment behind the scenes was far different from the upbeat image fans usually saw on camera. The sudden switch from praise to serious accusations left a lot of viewers confused and sparked even more controversy around MrBeast and his growing team. Ideas would get taken, people would get pulled into the team with big promises, and then I'd get screamed at by a manager who was impossible to satisfy. After that, I'd be told I misheard everything. We were pushed to re-sign NDAs and constantly reminded that these were supposed to be our glory days. That's what working for MrBeast felt like for me, and that's exactly why I left. Thanks for tuning in. Now, even after all of those intense accusations aimed at MrBeast and parts of his team, he continued denying the claims and never publicly admitting that any of it happened. And to be fair, nobody outside the situation knows for certain what was true or exaggerated. But with everything that has surfaced over the years, a lot of people online started feeling like some of these stories didn't sound impossible anymore. What made things even more dramatic was the fact that Turner originally claimed he wasn't planning to make a full video about the situation, but after seeing what he believed was a lack of accountability, he eventually uploaded another now deleted video talking more about his experience working around the MrBeast brand. And honestly, one of the strangest parts of this entire situation is how many of the people criticizing MrBeast now were once praising him publicly. That's why the internet became completely divided over who to believe. Some viewers thought these former employees were finally exposing what allegedly happened behind the scenes, while others believed they were chasing attention after leaving one of the biggest creator brands on YouTube. If you really look at it, there are multiple ways people can interpret the situation. At the time many of these employees first left, they may have genuinely been on good terms with MrBeast. They were still connected to a massive audience, still benefiting from the attention, and many of their "Why I Left MrBeast" videos instantly went viral. But later on, once the buzz started fading and they were no longer closely tied to the brand, some critics argued that more dramatic expose content naturally brought attention back to their names again. At the same time, that doesn't automatically mean every accusation was fake either. There's a reason so many people became invested in these stories. The allegations were serious, and some viewers felt there was enough consistency between former employees' stories to at least raise questions about what the workplace culture may have been like behind the scenes. And speaking of massive controversies, probably the biggest public backlash MrBeast ever faced came from the Dogpack 404 situation. A lot of people online still remember when Dogpack 404 uploaded a huge documentary-style video packed with claims against MrBeast and his company. The allegations ranged from supposedly staged challenges and misleading editing to claims about toxic workplace conditions and concerns involving younger participants in videos.
There was one video I was in, I got paid a lot for it, but it didn't come out. It didn't come out because it didn't go well. It was the surviving like $10,000 every day you survive in solitary or surviving solitary for whatever. It got a lot of media attention because everybody saw the premise and thought, what? You shouldn't do that. People don't know that was the second attempt. The first attempt was on me. And it didn't go well. They weren't turning the lights off. You know, I asked them, I said, can we have nighttime hours? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots. The time-lapse of what? Me sleeping? Or me not sleeping? Okay, I got no access to sun. I got no access to clock. The lights are on me all the time. I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep. And I have insomnia problems now. They might have started there. I had a lot of good people looking out for me saying, this we gotta stop. I just wanted to turn the lights off. And I'm vocalizing to people, I wish the lights would turn off. And I go up to my friend, my good friend, and I go, they're not turning the lights off. He goes, what? That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. Oh good. 24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing. And he goes, ask me why I have 2 briefcases. And I'm like, why do you have 2 briefcases? And he goes, oh, because this one's for today, and this one's for the challenge. And I go, what's the challenge today? He goes, you're gonna run a marathon. You're gonna do the 22.6K, whatever it is, and you're gonna do it on that treadmill over there. People who run marathons train forever, and it's still hard. Ryder, do I look like I run? I don't run, let alone a marathon.
Did you try to say no? Like, did you have a choice, or?
There was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, I wanted the cash, and so I started running at 12. I was able to take some breaks, and I asked him, how long do I have? He goes, until I get back. And I'm running until 3 a.m. When I got off the treadmill, the blisters I had on my feet were like, you wouldn't believe, just all over, just these big red, I couldn't walk, my muscles were like just the lactic acid. I got off the treadmill, and then the people that came in to ice my feet, make sure I was good. Then that's when I was like, I'm done, I'm done, I'm out.
Accusations on that level can seriously damage any creator, business, or online brand if people begin believing them. Now, for a while, a huge number of people fully believed the claims Dogpack was making in those videos. But later on, reports started spreading that some of the information planned for his third upload was allegedly inaccurate or misleading, and that completely changed the conversation online. A lot of viewers suddenly turned against him, arguing that if parts of the unreleased material weren't reliable, then it damaged the credibility of his earlier claims too. For many people, that situation created a massive problem. Once misinformation gets connected to a serious expose, audiences start questioning everything else tied to it as well. Even so, one part of Dogpack's earlier videos still grabbed a ton of attention because of how intense it was. He featured an interview with former MrBeast employee Jake Weddle, whose story ended up becoming one of the most disturbing accounts connected to the entire controversy. And honestly, Jake Weddle's interview hit a lot of people hard online. If everything he described is true, then he clearly went through an extremely rough experience while working around the channel. But at the same time, internet culture today makes situations like this difficult to judge with complete confidence. Online drama moves fast, and people know controversial stories can bring huge attention, views, and money almost overnight. That's why many viewers stayed divided. Some believed Jake completely, while others pointed out that there wasn't much public evidence available to fully confirm every single detail of his claims. At the end of the day, most of the situation came down to personal testimony, which naturally led to non-stop debates all over social media. But one controversy tied to the MrBeast brand that exploded far beyond internet rumors involved Ava Chris Tyson. By now, almost everybody online has heard the name Ava Chris Tyson in some way, especially after the massive backlash that started in 2024.
There are tons of screenshots to showcase exactly what was being said to someone who was between 13 and 14 years old at the time, and it's fucking gross. It's completely unacceptable. Some of them were just public tweets right under everyone's nose. So Ava Tyson was an adult at this point. Lava was a child, and saying things like, "I posted some fire for you, please no share," and then other shit like, "but not $5, pathetic JK kissy face." They seem to communicate a lot, even sending Snapchats. So here's one that says, "Coming for America," and then goes on to talk about being in a group chat and everything. And I've seen a lot of people try and cope and deflect, saying like, "Oh, it's just edgy jokes, people are blowing this out of proportion." What a bunch of fucking nonsense. That's a load of hooey. That's dirty barnacles. That's ridiculous. Under no circumstances should an adult be communicating with a child in any inappropriate manner whatsoever. Edgy jokes between an adult and a child are still fucking gross. That's not like the slam dunk defense that some people seem to think it is.
Ava had been connected to MrBeast's channel since the very beginning and was considered one of the most recognizable members of the original crew. MrBeast himself even once described Ava as the channel's very first subscriber. Then, in July 2024, everything suddenly spiraled into chaos online after allegations surfaced accusing Ava of having inappropriate conversations with underage fans over a period of years while associated with the MrBeast brand. The accusations instantly became one of the biggest controversies YouTube had seen in a long time, leading to endless reaction videos, debates, investigations, and social media posts flooding the internet for weeks. Because of the huge amount of screenshots, posts, and other material being shared online at the time, many people felt Ava Chris Tyson was impossible to defend publicly. The backlash spread across every platform, and the controversy quickly became one of the biggest topics on YouTube and social media. Another major reason the situation exploded was because Ava was also accused of supporting and interacting with content connected to an internet artist named Shadman, who has faced widespread criticism for creating highly inappropriate and offensive artwork involving underage characters. That connection alone caused even more outrage online and pushed the controversy to another level. As the situation got bigger, people immediately started asking questions about MrBeast himself. Many wondered whether he knew about Ava's online behavior behind the scenes, especially considering how long they had worked together and how close the original crew appeared to be publicly. Others questioned whether Ava would remain connected to the MrBeast brand after all the backlash.
Shadman was an artist who drew child. One of the most infamous cases was when he drew Keemstar's 8-year-old daughter in a graphic setting. Ava Tyson has publicly tweeted about Lolly, and in particular, there are tweets of Ava Tyson talking either to or about Shadman. A lot of the tweets are gone now because the Twitter account has been nuked, but there are archives of a lot of them. And one thing that still persists, and one thing that a lot of people have been showing, is that Ava Tyson may have actually commissioned a piece from Shadman, or at the very least, purchased a piece from Shadman. There's a clip from a MrBeast video where there is Shadman art hanging on the wall, belonging to Ava Tyson. I censored the close-up of the art for obvious reasons, but this is something that is irrefutable. The only question about Ava Tyson and Shadman's connection is whether or not a piece was commissioned or purchased. But at the very least, a piece was owned by Ava Tyson.
Not long after, Ava released a public statement addressing the controversy. In the post, Ava apologized to people who may have been hurt or offended, but did not fully admit to the accusations being discussed online. I would like to apologize for my past behavior or comments if I hurt or offended anyone. It was not my intent. Seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things MrBeast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. A lot of people online reacted negatively to that statement because they felt it avoided directly taking responsibility for the controversy itself. Critics argued the message sounded more like a general apology instead of directly responding to the serious accusations that were spreading across the internet. Ava later added another statement saying, "I want to add, I never groomed anyone. The person who gets brought up in these accusations, Lava GS, has vocally supported that they are false. Having said that, I humbly apologize to anyone I've hurt from my unacceptable social media posts, past actions, and those who may feel betrayed on how I used to act online." To lump these two factors together to create a narrative that my behavior extended beyond bad edgy jokes is disgusting and did not happen. In past years, I've learned that my old humor is not acceptable. I cannot change who I was, but I can continue to work on myself. I don't want these accusations to impact the hundreds of people who work at MrBeast, which is why I have stepped away. Even after that response, public opinion stayed overwhelmingly negative. Many viewers believed the evidence and past online behavior had already damaged Ava's reputation beyond repair, and by that point, almost nobody online was willing to defend the situation anymore. Eventually, MrBeast released his own statement about the controversy. He said Ava was no longer part of the team and made it clear that he did not support or approve of the inappropriate online behavior connected to the allegations. His response was heavily discussed online as people debated how much he may have known beforehand and whether the situation could affect the wider MrBeast brand moving forward. To be honest, this was probably the most strategic response MrBeast could have made from a PR standpoint. It wasn't the kind of dramatic, emotional video statement that the public often expects in situations like this, but in terms of protecting his image and keeping things stable, it likely served its purpose. Of course, a lot of people still wanted something more direct, more detailed, and far more explosive, but instead the approach stayed controlled and minimal. After that, he basically continued uploading and operating as normal, almost as if the online chaos around the situation had shifted into the background. Not long after, he also posted another message referencing a legal investigation involving Ava Tyson, aiming to reinforce that he had no prior knowledge of the alleged behavior or anything that was happening behind the scenes during that time. From there, things became less clear. At this point, there is still no definitive public resolution regarding Ava Tyson, the internal investigations, or what MrBeast may or may not have known in full detail. A lot of the situation remains based on speculation, public statements, and conflicting interpretations of events. Some people strongly believe there is no way he could have been completely unaware of everything happening around him, especially given how closely connected the team was. Others argue that even in large organizations, it's possible for certain behaviors to go unnoticed by leadership until they come to light publicly. Ultimately, there is still no confirmed full picture, and a lot of what people discuss online is based on assumptions rather than verified facts. What is clear, however, is that Ava Tyson had been a longtime collaborator and supporter within the early MrBeast ecosystem, which is part of why the situation became so emotionally charged and widely discussed across the internet. And on top of all of that, another major development added even more pressure to the broader discussion surrounding MrBeast's brand. An ex-employee reportedly filed a lawsuit against him involving serious allegations, which began gaining attention beyond YouTube and even started being covered by news outlets.
MrBeast's companies are facing a legal challenge of their own, just as Jimmy Donaldson himself took the stage at the Time 100 Summit as one of the world's most influential people. Former employee Lorraine Mavromatis filing a federal lawsuit in North Carolina, claiming she faced discrimination, retaliation, was required to work while on maternity leave, and was terminated within a few weeks of returning to the job, told she was too high caliber for the position. NBC News spoke with Mavromatis today in a broadcast exclusive.
I do not want to be silenced anymore. I really want to use my voice.
In the complaint, she alleges that she rose quickly inside the company after starting in 2022. but after recent concerns about sexual harassment, was demoted and transferred into what the lawsuit calls a division where, quote, careers go to die. MrBeast spokeswoman responding to NBC News, saying Mavromatis's position was eliminated as part of a restructuring, adding in a statement, quote, this clout-chasing complaint is built on deliberate misrepresentations and categorically false statements, and we have the receipts to prove it. There is extensive evidence, including Slack and WhatsApp messages, company documents, and witness testimony that unequivocally refutes her claims. We will not submit to opportunistic lawyers looking to manufacture a payday from us.
Compared to many of the other claims floating around online, this one was seen by some observers as more formal and structured, since it was handled through legal channels rather than social media posts or viral videos. That alone made people pay closer attention, especially because lawsuits tend to move very differently from typical internet drama. At the same time, there is still disagreement online about how to interpret it all. Some believe these accusations are being mischaracterized, while others feel they raise legitimate concerns that deserve closer scrutiny. With so many competing narratives, it has become increasingly difficult for the public to separate speculation from verified information.
The lawsuit also alleges Mavromatis was contacted to work while on maternity leave, and that the company never gave her required notice of her rights under the Family and Medical Leave Act.
Jimmy Donaldson himself, he says that you've got to get the job done, and there's no excuses.
Her suit claims she feared retaliation if she refused to work during her leave, and was on a work conference call while in the labor and delivery room, and traveled to Brazil for a shoot with soccer star Neymar a few weeks after giving birth.
But if Neymar wins, I will donate it to whatever charity he chooses.
No mother would want to leave their newborn baby behind to go to work, especially out of the country when you're breastfeeding your baby. That's the last thing that I wanted to do.
Documents obtained by NBC News show Mavromatis' signature on an employee handbook dated 4 days before giving birth, which laid out the company's maternity leave policies, something Mavromatis says she doesn't remember.
So you never signed any sort of FMLA documents 4 days before you gave birth?
No, I do not recall signing, and I was never informed of my rights.
And that's where everything currently stands, a situation filled with conflicting claims, ongoing legal action, and a massive amount of online debate, with no simple conclusion in sight.